Today on Unsolved Florida, we are going back to 1990 to Coral Springs, Florida, where the body of a woman was found by a motorist in a field. Identified as Terry Ann Gilchrist, she was only 35 years old when she was strangled and discarded. Unfortunately, there are extremely limited news articles about Terry's murder available online. The only article I was even able to find was from the Sun-Sentinel in May of 1990, stating a body was found on the side of the road and it was identified as Terry. Now, this case was submitted to me by a follower, so I really wanted to research Terry and see what I could find. There was nothing on Find a Grave, which, if you don't know, it's a website where you can search practically every headstone in the country and beyond. I could not find her final resting place on the site, which usually offers more information like her parents' names, siblings, obituary. I also couldn't find an obituary online anywhere. In a news release in 2014, local authorities say that they were looking into old cases like Terry's, but no other information was shared. Normally, the county that the homicide occurred in will have unsolved cases listed on their website, but Broward County's only goes back to 2017 on their active website. There are no Facebook pages or public posts about Terry. I couldn't even find a photo of her. The sheriff's office does have a cold case unit, which was formed in 2019. They work on cases that date back all the way to 1963 and have approximately 350 cases open and unsolved. However, they only have 10 cold cases posted, not including Terry's. Ancestry did not have any information other than FBI records list that have unsolved cases which had her name and date of death. Also listed her alias as Terry Ann Ritchie, RICCI, which makes me assume that was perhaps her maiden name and she was married. One of our followers who submitted Terry's name as a case to cover mentioned that she was likely living a high-risk lifestyle, possibly including drugs and sex work. Perhaps this partnered with the fact that her immediate family is no longer living or advocating for her. Terry's case was not worked by detectives. She also mentioned serial killers active in South Florida at that time, such as Samuel Little, who was the most prolific serial killer in U.S. history. He was active from the 70s to 2005, particularly in South Florida and the Tampa Bay area. You can see the map here of all of his known and confirmed killings. He often targeted vulnerable women, including prostitutes and drug addicts, and many of his victims' deaths were initially misclassified. There are other potential serial killers in Florida at the time of her murder, but I don't know if we will ever know. I think Terry's case has potential to be solved, especially if evidence was properly stored and could be tested for DNA. If one of these known killers took Terry's life after assaulting her, there's a good chance they left clues behind, especially in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Now, we just need people to advocate on her family's behalf and get her case reopened and evidence tested. You might be thinking this wasn't enough to make a video of, but I do think it's a shame that there is no trace of Terry just a few decades after. There's nothing online to say her case is solved, also no information about who Terry was. The sole purpose of this page is to bring more awareness to unsolved cases local to us in Florida, and that's hard to do without information. So if you knew Terry or you know another homicide victim that has little to no media coverage, feel free to message us. Terry, you are not forgotten and your life had value. That is all I have for today. Thank you for watching and we'll see you next time on Unsolved Florida.